That's the psalm that Satan quotes to tempt Jesus. Now let's get the context here. Jesus has just been tried to the limits of human endurance through fasting, praying, and meditation, and finally through these temptations. He has just expressed through his actions the theme of his life. What is the theme of Jesus' life here? It's pretty obvious. It's a simple theme. It's to honor his Father. That's it. You can express the whole life of Jesus in that simple theme. It's to honor his Father. No more, no less. Though exhausted and hungry and very fragile, because he's just a man. He fought off the temptations that even included sacred scripture, albeit misapplied. Jesus has defined sacrifice for us here at the very beginning of his ministry. And if you will come and see with me, what we'll find out is God defines his amazing care. Because it's interesting, in the Gospels, some accounts say some things and leave a few details out, and other accounts say other things and leave details out. Well, in Matthew, chapter 4, verse 11, at the end of the temptations it says, "Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him." Do you understand what happened here? Satan is saying, don't worry, the angels will bear you up. You won't be hurt. And Jesus said, no. That's not the path that I was given, and it cannot even come into consideration. And after all is said and done, in a quiet manner, what happens? The angels come and minister to him. So what Satan says actually happens in God's way. It wasn't the dramatic scene that Satan wanted to paint. No, it was a far more dramatic scene. Because it was in the personal sacrifice of Jesus giving himself that the angels came. And they bore him up. And they fed him. And they nourished him. And they encouraged him. So by Jesus being faithful and sacrificing every possible scenario to follow just one path, what he received is what Satan only wished he could give. Brethren, that is the process and the promise that you have. If we can keep sacrifice clearly in our minds as we deal with our everyday lives. Jesus was borne up by the angels. He was borne up by the angels. At the beginning, we talked about the scripture that Jesus said, "Come and see where I live." Brethren, it's my sincere belief that when Jesus said that, he was thinking, I want to show you where I really live. He was probably thinking about the temptations. He was probably thinking about the 91st Psalm because he had seen it fulfilled and he had seen it used as a temptation. And what did it say right at the beginning of that Psalm? He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Jehovah, He is my refuge, my fortress, my God. Do you understand? Jesus was saying, come and see. And I'm going to display to you where I live. And I want you to come and live with me under the shadow of the Almighty. Remember the pen that I asked you about? Take that pen out. I want you to show your pen to your neighbor. Most likely, all of the pens, most of them anyway, are different. What I'd like to give to you, sort of as a personal gift, is something to remember the lesson of sacrifice by. And that lesson is the lesson of the pen. The sole objective for a pen is to do what? Write. Well, actually, not really. The sole objective of a pen is to be a tool in the master's hand. To write what the master wants to write. All a pen is really, truly good for is to record what the master writes. Brethren, I would submit to you that this pen will represent your life, your sacrificial life. The pen itself, it's worthless. The value of the pen is not in the shiny cover. It's not in the little clicking action. The value of the pen is two things. One, it's in the ink. And two, it's in the fact that it's in the master's hand. You see, because in our lives of sacrifice, our Father, if we allow Him to, by putting in check those three areas of our lives, if we allow Him to, will write with that pen the legacy of your life. Now, the strange thing about this exercise is that you can take yourself out of the master's hand at any time. The object, brethren, is for the pen to run out of ink. The object is for the ink to be entirely used up in writing a legacy of a life of sacrifice. And if you allow it to be entirely used up, then the shell is thrown away. And you know what's left? The story of a consecrated life. That's all. All that's left is the story of sacrifice that the world can look at and use as an example. Be a pen in the master's hand.